If you're loading Mega Metagross onto every Reg MB team right now, I think you need to stop. And look, I get why you're using it. It's Metagross, tough claws, steel psychic, incredible on paper. But I think the meta right now punishes it in a specific way that most people aren't talking about. And it's not the only S tier, according to everyone, that I have ranked way lower. So here's my honest tier list. S through F for Regulation MB. Here's the thing. When I came back to competitive after stepping away for a while, I was doing exactly what I'm telling you not to do. I was loading up the same Pokemon I remembered being good. I was bringing heavy hitters that looked amazing on paper, getting into games, and just losing. And I didn't understand why. It felt like I forgot how to play the game. Turns out, I hadn't forgotten how to play. I just didn't understand the meta I was walking into. So I went back to the drawing board. I started actually looking at what was winning, what the usage numbers said, what was overperforming, and what was absolutely not worth the slot. And that's what this tier list is. It's not based on vibes. It's based on what's actually working right now. And I promise you, there are at least 3 placements here that are gonna make you mad. They made me mad too, until I looked at the data. Now, before we get into the actual rankings, I want to explain how I'm defining each tier because people use these words differently. Here's how I'm breaking it down. S tier. These are broken. You see them basically every single game, on 90% of teams. They define what's playable and what's not. A tier, meta Pokemon. You see them on a ton of teams. They're very strong, but they're not warping the entire game around them. B tier, strong Pokemon. These are good. They have real use cases, but they're not automatic includes. C tier, niche. You can make them work, but they need specific team support and the right matchup. D tier, difficult. It's not that they're impossible to use, but you're fighting an uphill battle. There's almost always a better option. F tier, not worth running. I'm sorry, but they just don't cut it. So with that out of the way, let's get into S tier. All right, so I have 4 Pokemon in S tier, and I think, 2 of them are not gonna surprise anyone. The other 2 might. Number 1, Mega Aerodactyl. And I'm putting it above the Pokemon you probably expected to see first. Mega Aerodactyl has 150 speed, access to Tailwind, and the buffed dual wing beat that honestly just deletes bulky Sneasler off the map. There is no consistent counterplay to this thing right now. You can't. Fake out a faster Pokemon that's immune to ground moves and resists fighting. Its dual wing beat just throws the entire concept of Fat Sneasler out the window. I think this is the single best Pokemon in the format right now, and I don't think it's particularly close. Number 2, Mega Charizard Y. I don't care if people think Charizard is overrated. Here's the fact. 100 speed, 159 special attack. It sets up drought the second it hits the field, and its heat waves are chunking your entire team whether you like it or not. What makes it genuinely broken is that it enables so many different ways to play. It can one-shot Sneasler with Weather Ball. It can one-shot Kingambit with Heat Wave in Sun. It's the premier spread special attacker in the format with ridiculous damage output, and basically every offensive team either runs it or has to account for it. Number 3, Mega Floette Eternal. And I went back and forth on whether this belonged in S or A, but after seeing what it did in the Indonesia tournament, I think it belongs here. Combine into Moonblast is one-shotting Incineroar and Kingambit. That's stupid. That's ridiculous. And honestly, it's kind of unfair in some games. It also has Light of Ruin for absolutely unreal burst damage, and it fits on a bunch of different team archetypes. The thing is, Combine almost feels like a trap now because people have learned to play around it, right? But the threat of Combine is almost as valuable as the move itself. You force switches, you force protects, you control the pace. That's S-tier behavior. Number 4. Basculegion. This is the one that's gonna make some people upset, and I get it. But Basculegion is one of the most broken Pokémon in the game. Here's why. Its damage scales with how many Pokémon you've lost. It has a built-in comeback mechanic. Whether it's running Scarf, Sash, Mystic Water, it's an endgame sweeper that can flip games you have absolutely no business winning. Last respects, once your team is thinned out, is doing damage numbers that shouldn't exist. Like, genuinely shouldn't exist. It one-shots most things in the game once it gets going. So those are your S tiers. Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Floette Eternal, and Basculegion. Dropping into A tier. These are meta. You see them everywhere. They're excellent, but not broken. Garchomp is my top A tier. Garchomp just checks off everything you need in this format right now. Good spread damage with Earthquake, access to Rock Slide, a really solid defensive profile, and a great balance of bulk and speed. 102 speed is genuinely difficult to contend with when it has partner support, and the bulk makes it very hard to one-shot. Garchomp is Garchomp, you know? Sneasler. I'm putting it in A, not S, and I know people are going to argue. It is the only Pokémon that really does what it does. Fake Out User. Unburden Boost makes it outspeed almost everything, and it's usually the one responsible for picking up KOs on faster, frailer threats. But, and here's the big but, the meta has shifted against it. Mega Swampert owns it. Mega Staraptor owns it. Mega Raichu Y outspeeds and threatens it. It's still amazing, but it's not the undisputed queen it was before the 1.1 update. Kingambit. I'm putting it about on par with Garchomp. Defiant punishes Intimidate. Sucker Punch lets it endgame things, and its stats are honestly ridiculous. 135 attack, 100 HP, 120 defense. On paper, it looks like a mega Pokémon. But Sucker Punch mind games can go against you, and the format has adapted to its presence. Still phenomenal. Sylveon. This is your strong alternative to Floette Eternal. When you can't afford a third Mega slot, Sylveon gives you very similar damage with the Fairy Feather and Pixelate boosts. Its Hyper Beam is basically a Light of Ruin. Same tools, same matchups, just a little less flexible. Great Pokémon. Incineroar. I'm putting it below Garchomp, but above Sylveon. Fake Out. Intimidate. Parting Shot. It fits on basically any team and enables a ton of stuff. This feels like VGC 2018 Incineroar, taking a more offensive role rather than just being a defensive pivot. But it does have a harder time than it used to because Mega Staraptor actually wants to eat your Intimidate. That contrary boost turns your own ability against you. Still an incredible Pokémon, just not the automatic best in slot it used to be. Alright, B tier. These are strong Pokémon, they're good, but they're not on every team and for good reason. At the top, Aegislash. Offensively deals with a ton of the metagame, hard to play around because of the stance switching, and has a genuinely great matchup spread. If you're not running it, you should look at it. Mega Gengar. Very strong, but Perish Trap isn't getting the same results it used to. The format is too fast and too aggressive for it to consistently pull off the Perish Trap game plan. But Mega Gengar is still fast, still hits hard, and still demands respect. Whimsicott. I'm putting it above Gengar. Fits on a ton of archetypes, especially Charizard teams, because Prankster Encore locks things into Protect. It resets sand, and it's just a general nuisance that warps how your opponent has to play. Pelipper, one of the best Pokemon in the game right now, purely because it enables rain. Sets up Archaludon, enables Mega Swampert, and the rain archetype as a whole is one of the dominant forces in the format. Pelipper is the key that unlocks all of that. Tyranitar. I almost put it in A tier. I really did. Sand is good, Rock Slide Spam is good, and Tyranitar's stats are Tyranitar's stats. But it doesn't quite reach the meta-defining level of the Pokemon above it. Strong, worth using, just not mandatory. Mega Venusaur. Great on rain teams, walls Charizard when rain is up, the physical bulk lets it handle Garchomp and Sneasler. A very solid choice in the right team composition. Dragonite. Both forms are good. I actually think the base form is better than the Mega right now, but they play differently enough that I'm grouping them. Inner Focus, Extreme Speed, great coverage. Dragonite just works. Rotom Wash, Mega Scissor, Excadrill, Milotic, Sableye, Clefable, Mega Gardevoir. All strong, all have real team slots, but they don't quite push into the meta tier. Sableye deserves a special mention. Prankster dual screens, Encore, Disable, Quash. Can't be fake-outed, can't be Prankster taunted. There's a very real argument for Sableye on the right team. Now, before we get to C, D, and F, which I'm going to move through quickly, I want to talk about the Pokemon that have shifted the most since the 1.1 update. Because the meta didn't just change, it got completely reshaped. The biggest winner is Mega Staraptor. No question. This thing almost completely reshaped the metagame in its image. It's fast, outspeeds Mega Charizard Y. It has Intimidate pre-Mega, and then Close Combat with Contrary post-Mega. Think about that. Intimidate makes things weaker. Then you Mega Evolve, and every close combat boosts your defense and special defense by 1 stage. It's a cosmic power on a 120 base power stabby move. And if Incineroar switches in and intimidates you, that's a free attack boost. Mega Staraptor completely throttles the previous meta standards. If you're not respecting it, you're losing to it. The second biggest winner is Mega Swampert and Rain as an archetype. Wave Crash at 120 base power in Rain off Mega Swampert's attack stat is absurd. It obliterates Pokemon that were previously safe. It's difficult to change the weather against a well-built rain team, and Mega Swampert can run Rock Slide to keep Charizard honest. Rain teams are one of the dominant forces in the format, and Mega Swampert is at the very top of it. Mega Raichu X and Y both deserve a mention. Mega Raichu X brought electric terrain back into relevance single-handedly, with Volt Tackle or Rising Voltage dealing massive damage. Mega Raichu Y outspeeds Mega Staraptor, has perfectly accurate zap cannons that also paralyze, and provides the fastest fake-out in the format. Now the biggest faller is actually Sneasler, even though I still have it in A tier. It's gone from undisputed best Pokemon to really good, but contested. Mega Staraptor directly competes for the fast fighting type fake-out role. Mega Raichu Y has a faster fake-out. Mega Swampert owns it. It's still great, but it's no longer the automatic pick. Mega Metagross. Remember how I opened this video? It lost Heavy Slam. That was going to be its signature tool, this enormous damage move off Tough Claw's boosted attack. Instead, it stuck with Iron Head and Meteor Mash. Still decent, but nowhere near the S tier it could have been. Annihilapy got hit hard. Rage Fist's boost now resets on Switch, so you can't build up a nuke and save it for later. And it lost Final Gambit, which was a key tool for forcing favorable trades. Still usable, but way more limited. Golden Co. Make It Rain. Now drops special attack by 2 stages and only has 95% accuracy. That reliability drop is brutal for a Pokémon that needed to consistently rain down damage. Alright, moving fast through the lower tiers. C tier, Niche. Pikachu with Light Ball can actually be terrifying in the right matchup, but you're sacrificing your item and speed. Alolan Ninetales is the best niche Pokémon, but Mega Frostlass does almost everything it does better. Machamp has Guts, No Guard Dynamic Punch, and Wide Guard. Actually not bad. Mega Blastoise on soft Trick Room teams with Water Spout under Rain is a real threat. They all work, but they require specific team building around them. D tier. Difficult. Mega Alakazam is the only thing that hits Mega Aerodactyl's speed tier, but doesn't do anything meaningful once it gets there. Arbok has Intimidate and Glare, but the stats just aren't there. Alolan Raichu's Surge Surfer never activates in this meta, so it's just a worse Raichu. F tier. Not worth running. Mega Beedrill has terrible bulk, and Sneasler does what it wants to do, but better. Mega Pidgeot might as well not have an ability, doesn't hit anything for super effective damage, and is completely outclassed. Mega Victreebel. You can maybe make a case for sleep powder sets, but honestly, just don't. So that's the tier list. If you're building a team right now for Reg MB, the Pokémon you should be looking at first are Mega Aerodactyl, Mega Charizard Y, Mega Floette Eternal, and Basculegion. Build around 1 or 2 of those, fill with A and B tier support, and you'll be in a good spot. Let me know what placements you disagree with. I'm sure there are at least 3 you hated, and I would love to hear about it in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.